Anyone can watch it if they need to. So again, I'm recording. We're on 5.6. This is the second day of 5.6. Again, you should have this either downloaded in Notability or printed off. However you want to study best is fine with me. We did the first day yesterday, or whenever the last time I saw your class, and we have one more lesson after this. So we're going to do 5-7 after this, a review, and then a quiz to wrap up the quarter. So today we're learning basically one theorem and just carrying that through with a couple different types of problems. So the theorem we're learning today is in a triangle, the longest side is opposite the largest angle. The longest side is opposite the largest angle. The shortest side is opposite the smallest angle. And the medium side is across from the medium angle, which kind of makes sense. If it's the biggest side, it's got the biggest side, it's got the biggest angle. If it's the smallest side, it's got the smallest angle. Like goes with like. Big goes together, small goes together, medium goes together. That's all we're learning today. We're going to use that concept to put sides and angles in order. We're going to use it to decide what's bigger, what's smaller. But that's just the main concept we are doing today, this theorem right here. Now, the caution thing I want to give you is be careful. Just because something looks bigger does not mean it is bigger. So that's not a valid excuse or a valid reason to say that two side angles or two angle measures, or side lengths are bigger or smaller than each other. You don't get to just say how it looks. You have to use the actual angle measures or the side lengths that are given to you. So you have to use what I give you in order to decide what's small versus what's big. Okay, so let's do this. The first example I gave you 3 side lengths, and we want to go from biggest to smallest. So first we want to make sure we're putting it in the right order. Now, let's decide what side is the biggest, and then we'll decide which angle goes with that. So what's the biggest side that I have here? It's the biggest side.
BC. Line BC.
BC because it has 6. What angle is across from BC?
A.
Angle A, very good. Angle A is across from it. This is the largest, or you can say B for biggest, whatever makes you happy. And the angle that's across from it is angle A. Very good. So then what's my medium side?
AC.
AC, very good. Because 5 is the medium length between 4 and 6. And what angle is across from side AC?
B.
B, very good. So that means that this is the medium side and angle B is the medium angle. And then last we have to do the smallest. What's my smallest side?
AB.
AB. And the smallest angle is what?
C.
C, very good. Maddie, way to help me on that. Good job. Notice when we listed our sides and our angles, they don't overlap at all. So if I had angle A was the largest angle, the largest side was BC. One way I check myself is if BC is the largest side, its angle across from it can't be B or C. It must be a different letter. It has to be A. That's the only option I have. So if you're ordering them, double check and make sure that you don't have any overlapping letters. It's very easy to get all caught up in alphabet soup here. Okay, why don't you look at the next one? You try and order that, and I'm going to join you in 1 second. You try the second one. This time we're going smallest to longest, shortest to longest. Make sure you read the directions. All right, can someone tell me the smallest angle?
Line RS.
Good, line RS, because what's the smallest angle?
The smallest angle is 40.
40, good. So you just jumped a step ahead of me. I want to identify angle T as the smallest, which makes RS the smallest side. Very good. So I'm going to write RS first because I'm going shortest to longest. Next, the medium side. What's the medium side?
RT.
RT is the medium side because why?
I don't know.
So remember, we want to go medium angle. So what's the medium angle? Griffin, you got it. What's the medium angle?
60.
60. And what side's across from 60?
ST.
Good. So it's hard to tell if we try and just decide by the way it looks. We can't personally say, well, this one looks longer and this one looks more medium. We're going to look at the angle. So since 60 is the medium angle, that means that TS or ST or however you want to name it is the medium side. Good. And then that makes my last one what? What's the largest angle?
TR.
Good. That's
Well, that angle would be S, but wouldn't the line be TR?
very good. The line would be TR. Good. You guys are jumping ahead of me. I was trying to stair step it, but it looks like you're ready to go directly to the side. So I want you to think in your head first, what's the smallest or biggest or medium angle, and then what side goes with it. So very good. RT or TR is my largest angle, or my largest side, because it's across from the largest angle, which is 80. Awesome. Good job, guys. Any questions so far? Okay. The next one says, which side of a right triangle is the longest? Okay, first let's draw a right triangle. What's special about a right triangle? What makes it
The 90 degrees.
90 degrees? I've got a 90 degrees in my triangle. Can either of these other angles be 90 or bigger?
No,
Why not?
because a triangle adds up to 180, and so you have to split, like 180 minus 90 is 90, so you have to split that between two angles.
Good. So at the end of the day, the whole triangle has to add up to 180. So if I already took 90 away for this right angle, I only have 90 left that has to still go between two angles. So there's no way for one of those to be bigger than 90. If that's 90, does anyone know what the longest side of my triangle would be? What's the longest side or the largest side?
The hypotenuse?
Very good. And what is the hypotenuse?
It's the angle diagonal from the right angle.
Good. I want to use the word side, so it's the side opposite or across or diagonal from the right angle. Very good, Maggie. We knew the right angle is the biggest, so that means my hypotenuse, which is the side opposite it, is the longest side. Okay, so I'm going to label this hypotenuse just in case. And I want to kind of team time out this lesson really quick and bring up an idea or a thought I saw on our last test. The very first question on all of our tests said something like, the side across from the 90-degree angle in a right triangle is what? And a bunch of us, and I don't know if it was your class or other classes, but I'm bringing it up to everyone, a bunch of people wrote hypotenuse leg was the side across from the 90-degree angle. The side across from the 90-degree angle is only hypotenuse. Hypotenuse leg refers to a theorem that proves that triangles are congruent, where the hypotenuse and one of the other sides is congruent. I maybe wasn't clear on this earlier, so I'm going to try and clear it up now. The leg is what we call any side of a right triangle that's not the hypotenuse. So either of the two other sides are legs. The one across from the 90 is hypotenuse. So Maggie, you said that perfectly, but I wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. Never, ever, ever is one side called both hypotenuse and leg. You just get one or the other. So this one's hypotenuse because it's across from the 90. Okay, team time back in. So the longest side is the hypotenuse, and I'm just going to write in words kind of what Maggie was saying. The reason is, if I could zoom in, that'd be cool. Okay. The reason is the right angle, which is the 90-degree angle, is the largest. And since the hypotenuse is across from the 90-degree angle, it's across from the largest angle. That makes it the longest side. You can write this in as many or as few words as you want. I'm just trying to explain to you in case you go home. Well, I mean, you're at home. In case you go back to this later and you're looking at it and you're like, why is it the hypotenuse again? It's because the right angle is the largest angle. And so the hypotenuse, which is across from the largest angle, is the longest side. So it's kind of like a big roundabout answer. All right, questions so far? Okay, the next one says, list the sides and angles in order from smallest to largest. So we're gonna list both the sides and the angles in terms of smallest to largest. Sides, angles. Does anybody else, every time you write angle, like think in your head to make sure it's not angel? Or is that just like a Catholic school problem? I think that literally every time I write angles, I'm like, is this angels or is it angle? But I spelled it right today. Okay, we got to list it from smallest to largest. So I want to list all the sides first. Who can list all the sides from smallest to largest? Maybe someone I haven't heard from for a while. Smallest to largest.
3.84, 4.3.
Very good, Charlie. Can you name them with the letters? So 3.8 is called what?
AB, AC, and then BC.
A, B, C, and then BC is the largest one. Very good. Just trying to color coordinate, make my notes pretty. Very good. So Charlie labeled all my sides. So now going off of that, can someone use what Charlie said about the sides to give me my smallest, medium, and largest angles?
Would it be C as the smallest, B as like the medium, and then A is the largest?
Very good, Gavin. C is the smallest because it's across from the smallest side. B is the medium because that's the medium side. And then angle A is the largest because it's across from the largest side. Very good. Great job. Any questions on that one? Okay, we got two more. I want you to write them out on your own first, and then I'm gonna need at least 4 people to help me with that. So just like I asked for help on sides and angles, I'm gonna need help on the next 2, but I want you to plan them out first. Take a second, I'll stop talking, you do those. All right, take another minute. Finish the one you're on. All right, I need help on the middle one. Let's do angles first here. Who's gonna help me with angles?
Angle E, angle C, and then angle D.
E as an elephant, angle C as in cat, and then angle D as in dog. Very good, Griffin. He knew 25 was smallest, then 35, then 120. Okay, someone taking off from what Griffin said, what are my sides? What's the smallest side? What's the medium? Blah, 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 blah. Who can help me? Who can help me?
Is it side CD, side DE, and then side CE?
Yes, Griffin, side CD, because it's across from angle E. Side DE, because it's across from angle C. And then side CE, because it's across from, oh, that's a trash, okay. It's across from angle D. Again, as I pointed out before and as I'm proving here, if angle E is across from the side, E is not in the side. If DE is across from an angle, neither D or E is that angle. So that's a really easy way to check your work to make sure that you're lining everything up accordingly. All right, before I get started, I need to know what angle Y is. Who can tell me what angle Y is?
I got 76.
76. Where'd that come from, Stephanie?
I added together angle X and angle Z and then subtracted it from 180 because all triangles equal 180.
So 56 plus 58, I think, is 114, and then 180 minus 114. Perfect process. I do think it should be 66, though, instead of 76.
Yeah, I messed it up.
That's okay. That happens. I do that all the time. But great. You did everything else right. We know that all the angles in a triangle add up to 180. You took the two we had, subtracted them from 180, and we got our angle. So we needed 66 in order to solve. So let's list our angles first and then sides, just like the last one. Who is someone I haven't spoken to for a while who can help me label my angles? I mean, this is as nicely as possible, guys, but this is one of the easiest lessons. So this is a really easy day to get participation. Who is someone I haven't talked to for a while?
Angle X, angle Z, and then angle Y.
And sorry, not you. You're already talking to me. Somebody new. I'll wait all day. Somebody new. Or I can call you out. Who wants to be called out? Let's see. I haven't talked to JJ for a while. JJ, can you list my angles in order? JJ, you there? Oh, I guess JJ's not here. What about, Jeanette, can you list my angles in order?
Is it angle X, angle Z, and then angle Y?
Perfect, great job. Angle X, angle Z, angle Y, awesome. Somebody else I haven't talked to want to volunteer to do sides?
Side YZ, XY, and XZ.
XY and XZ. Very good, Donna. So we had to do the ones opposite it. So if I had angle X, I wanted opposite it, which was YZ. If I wanted angle across from Z, I had to go opposite, which is XY. Very good. Perfect. Okay, any other questions so far? All right. I'm gonna keep needing help from people I haven't talked to. So if I haven't talked to you, I'm gonna call on you unless you wanna volunteer yourself. We're gonna go on to the next box. And I think this is a little bit of the harder part. I'm putting two triangles together. So we're breaking it down at the beginning, but we're working into, I think this is a pretty simple lesson, but this is the hardest part of the lesson. So we're doing two triangles together now. The first one we're looking at is angle or triangle BCD. So if I'm looking at triangle BCD, I need to name the shortest and the longest side. Think about it for a second. You haven't spoken, you can volunteer. Shortest, longest. Anyone want to volunteer for the shortest side?
Is the shortest line BC and the longest line DC?
Very good, Abby. We have our smallest angle, which is across from the smallest side, which means BC is my smallest side. And then my biggest angle is across from my biggest side. So that means DC is my biggest side. Great job. All right, now I need to do shortest and longest segment of ABD. Let's see, JJ, can you redeem yourself? Can you give me smallest and largest of this one? Okay, JJ, I can't mark you present if you're not going to talk to me. All right, I guess he's absent then. All right, somebody else want to volunteer? ABD? What about Michael? Can you tell me what the smallest or the shortest side of ABD is?
Yeah, would it be DB?
It would be. And then while you're with me, can you tell me the longest side?
80.
Awesome. Great job, Michael. Shortest side is 50, longest side is 71, which is across from 71, excuse me. So that's AD. All right. Great job. Okay. While we're here, let's label them also our medium side. So I should have colored these in different colors. Let's do this. Save it right now. I'm just rewriting what Michael told me. I've got smallest is here. I've got largest is here. And I'm gonna label this side medium, because even though I didn't specifically ask you, we know the third side that's missing is the medium side. Same thing over here. My medium side is across from my 60, which is here. A, B, D, and an AD. Just had to fix it. I wanted it to look right. Okay. So now I want to know what the shortest segment of the whole diagram is. This is a little tricky. So let's look at it. What's the shortest of the entire diagram? Does anyone have any idea or any thoughts?
Would it be the midpoint or the mid segment?
Use a different word than mid segment, because that comes from midpoints. Do you mean the one in the middle between the two lines?
Yeah.
So that's a great guess, Abby. Why do you think it's that?
Because if we're doing it as a whole shape, that would seem to me the shortest line.
That would seem like the shortest line. I think that's an excellent thought. That's an excellent reasoning. It's across from the smallest angle, so we might think that it's the shortest side. However, it does say that it's only the medium side in the blue triangle. So that means it's only the medium side. There's still something smaller than that in the blue, which would make something smaller than it in the whole thing. Which side then would be the smallest?
DC.
DC, not DC.
BC, sorry.
Yes, BC. So think about it here. If we had this as the medium side, there's going to be something smaller than it. The reason I wanted to make us think through it is because I wanted to say what Abby said at first too. A lot of us want to say that middle one is because it's the smallest and it's across from the smallest angle. But in actuality, like Maggie just told me, it's BC, which is the smallest of the entire blue triangle. If the medium side of the blue triangle is the smallest in the yellow, that doesn't make it the smallest overall. Think about it this way. Between you and your siblings, you're gonna be like tallest, smallest, or medium, right? Or somewhere in the middle. I don't know how many siblings you have. So my sister is the tallest of the three of us. However, she's not very tall. She's like 5'5". So that's not very tall. When we go to like family Christmas, you know, when it's not COVID, I've got cousins who are way taller, like 6 foot or over 6 foot. So while my sister is the tallest one of my 3 siblings, she's the shortest of like that group of cousins. So just because you're the, in relation to the 3 around you, you're the smallest, doesn't mean you're smaller than everything else. So the shortest segment is not always opposite, or also not often opposite the smallest angle. So in this case, it's not, no. It's all about the relation. It's about relation to other sides and angles. We got to compare. I'm going to erase it just a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm saying. Ooh, come back. This is a hard concept, which is why I'm really dragging it home. We knew this was smallest, medium, and largest of this triangle. And then of the second triangle, I had smallest, medium, largest. Again, this is what you have on your picture. You probably didn't erase like I did. I cannot say that BD is the smallest because it's only the medium of the right triangle. And so the triangle on the right, the smallest is BC, which makes that the smallest overall. Does anybody have any questions about that? I'd be happy to talk more about it if need be. Okay, let's do this now. Last thing we have to ask on this diagram is how many segments in the figure are longer than BD? How many are longer than BD? Who knows one segment that's longer than BD? What's one thing that's longer than BD?
DA.
Would you say?
DA.
DA, yes, that one is. Why?
It's across from the biggest angle.
Good. So in that triangle on the left, the BD is the smallest side. So the largest side of that triangle would be larger than that, right? What's another one that's bigger?
AB.
AB is also bigger. Same idea. It's the medium size of the triangle on the left, which makes it bigger than the smallest side, which is BD. So right now I've got two. I've got AD and AB. Does anyone see any more?
Would CD be one?
BD would also be right, Sterling. Very good. BD is only the medium side of the triangle on the right, and DC or CD is the largest one, so this one has to also be bigger. So literally everything but the very, very smallest side is bigger than this one. So that means a total of 3 segments are larger. CD. AB, AD, and CD. Good job. Okay, any questions on this picture? We're doing the same idea for the next one, and I'm just going to scroll down so you can still see this box if you're writing it down. But before we get started, I'm missing 2 angles. I'm missing this one at WXZ and at XZY. So can you take a minute, find those angles, because we need those angles in order to do anything else. So take a minute, find those angles.
Which question are we on?
We're on the next page. I want you to find the angles, the blue ones right there.
Oh, okay.
All right, did anyone find angles for me?
Is Z 52?
52, I think it's 42.
Okay, I did it in my head.
Yeah, that's okay. What'd you do to get 42?
I added 36 and 102, and then I subtracted it by 180.
Perfect. So 138, and then 180 minus that. And then, so that should be 42. Good. Very good. And then can someone give me the other angle?
$55.
55. Very good, Donna. Same concept. We've been doing this for a long time, so I'm not going to dig too deep on how to find that. Great job, guys. We needed Abby and Donna to find those angles in order for us to solve. So we're going to look at the triangle over here on the left first. And let's see, I haven't heard from Sarah yet today. Sarah, can you tell me what the smallest side is of this shape?
XY.
XY. Look at the one on the, just the blue one. So just W, X, and Z.
Oh, XZ.
XZ, very good. So XZ is my smallest side, and we're actually going to make a list down here. Triangle XWZ. So the smallest side is XZ. What's the medium side? Anybody?
WZ.
WZ. Very good. WZ. And then what about the biggest side?
WX.
WX. Thank you, Maddie. WX. Small, medium, large. Okay, awesome. So we wrote those in order. Now we're going to look at the triangle on the right side. I'm going to make it yellow. I don't think I've heard from Alex yet today. Alex, can you tell me the smallest side over here?
Over where?
Over in the yellow one?
Wouldn't the smallest side be ZY?
Y, very good. What about, Okay, smallest is ZY. What about the medium side?
Are you asking me
XY?
again?
XY. XY. Heard a lot there, but I heard XY, so I'm gonna go with that. Did I miss a question? Okay, and then what about the longest side? Can be anybody.
XZ?
XZ, very good, Maggie, XZ. Good, so now I have them labeled. I've got smallest, medium, largest, smallest, medium, largest. Now I need a way to connect them together. Anyone have any idea how I'm gonna connect these two groups together? So I've got smallest, medium, large of one, I've got smallest, medium, large of the other. How am I gonna join them together? Anyone have any ideas? I'll also write that. Is there any way I can join them up in one line? Is there anything in common between the two triangles? Anything that helps me with my comparison because it's the same?
Isn't it reflexive property for X and Z?
Good, I have XZ in both of them. I've got a reflexive line right here. Why is that helpful, Maddie?
Doesn't it mean like the lines are the same?
They're the same. And that means I've got an XZ in this triangle and an XZ in this triangle. If I have XZ in both of them, it's the smallest in one and it's the largest in the other. It's gonna go right in the middle because there's some that's smaller than it and then there's some that are bigger than it. Okay? I see if I have XZ in the middle, what's an example of something that's smaller than XZ? Anyone know a side that's smaller than XZ? Looking here.
ZY.
ZY is smaller. Is there anything else that's smaller?
XY.
XY, good. Griffin was looking at the orange triangle and he knew that ZY is smaller and then it's XY and then it's XZ. So he took XZ and then wrote everything else smaller than it to the left. Very good. What's bigger than XZ?
WZ
And what else?
and WX.
Very good. WZ and WX. I have XZ here and then everything else is bigger than it over here. So I'm gonna write it bigger than it behind it. All of these were in my orange triangle. All of these were in my purple triangle. And then I had a connector right here at XZ, which allowed me to link them together, share them all up. That is my order from least to greatest. Now, this is one of the most difficult concepts that we're learning here. So if this is something that's still tricky for you, please let me know and I can help you with it. You also, I think it will be one on your homework tonight. So use your notes as you do your homework tonight. Any questions on what I'm showing you right now? Okay, I'm gonna stop my share. I'm gonna stop my record.